Okay, in this example, we're going to take this layout and see if we can do this in grid. So you can see that there's roughly 2 columns and 2 rows, but this one spans across 2 rows. So that's the challenge here. So in HTML and CSS layout, this would be kind of difficult to do, but with grid, it's going to be pretty easy to do. So we have this kind of empty div here with this background image. We have this top row with the headline, and then we have this bottom row with some detailed information. So let's go over into CodePen. And I have basically just a main again with 3 sections, one for the image, one for the headline, and one for the detailed section. And each has a different class. And you can see with the body tag, I'm just making it a certain width and I'm centering that. And it's my main tag that's going to be my grid container, and my sections are going to be my grid items. So that's what I want to work on now. I've done some styling here for the headlines and for the copy containers, but you see that it doesn't match our layout. So we'll go to the grid and we'll say display grid. And again, nothing's going to happen until we actually define the first of all, what we want to define is the rows, the columns. So grid template columns. And for this, what I settled on is 2 columns. One is going to be 1.1 FR. The other one's going to be 1.2 FR. And that will roughly give us what we need. But you can see that we're not getting the positions correct. Not yet anyways. So we have these 3 containers, and they're not exactly in the right position yet. Next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to define the height with grid template rows. And with that, I'm going to do 250 pixels and 250 pixels. And that will give me the height that I need. And then the last thing I need to do is I need to span. So kind of like in HTML where you can span table rows. It's very similar. So this time we're going to use grid specification on the grid item. So we want this one to span these 2 columns, and that will shove this this content over to the right. So what we want to do here is on the fpic, which is that section with the image, what we want to do is we say grid dash row, and we will say span 2. And there you go. So that puts that into position. It spans both those rows. And this is looking like it should here, and this is looking like it should here. For these particular sections, the top section and the bottom section, I did use display flex in order to center these items and to center this item to give it the breathing room that I needed. I did have to adjust the width of the content inside because otherwise it would just go right to the end. So we have that. And that pretty much matches the layout that I have. Pretty good. And that's spanning columns with grid.